It's the Should Run with God. Yeah.
Should Run
with Gas podcast.
We're back.
Yeah, we're back. It's been a while since Cool Springs.
Yes. Cool Spring was the last one. Well, we've both been busy.
Yep. Been busy. What is it? Almost the end of July now?
Yeah.
Summer's busy. We both have jobs.
Yeah.
Big boy jobs.
Unfortunately.
So out there having to deal with that.
Heat. It sucks.
Yeah. That's why we're in the shop here, because he's got AC in here.
Yeah. We got the air conditioning going, and I think it's, 72 in here.
Yeah, it's comfortable.
Not too bad.
Yeah, definitely comfortable.
Not too bad. So, Chase, what was, let's just jump in, and here we go. What was your favorite part of Cool Spring?
I'll be honest with you. I enjoyed going around, and I did a YouTube video there just kind of showing what the place was, and I had a bunch of stuff to pick up, and I just enjoyed going around and BSing with everybody.
Crap.
Bless you.
Sorry.
Yeah, just going around and BSing with everybody. I had, like I said, a bunch of stuff to pick up for some projects. The Stickney I just bought. There's hot tube castings for that I had to get, and some stuff that Rob Charles was doing for my famous, and the head for the air motor. Seeing all that stuff come together, cylinder and stuff like that for the Altman Taylor. So just gathering up a bunch of stuff to get projects maybe done.
Right.
Sometime.
Right.
So I haven't done that in a while. I usually go over to the show and just set up with some stuff for sale, and usually never buy anything. So this is the first time that I've gone over and
just kind of enjoyed yourself.
Yeah. Plus I had the little Cushman there to.
Oh, yeah, that was helpful.
Yeah, ride around on.
Jeremy took me to the outhouse here a couple times on it.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, yeah, being home down the hill we went. Thought I was going to die, and all good. We made it though.
That thing's a lifesaver.
It is.
We traded. Me and Dad had that thing for years. Traded a corn sheller for it.
Really? Worth it to me.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
It's got a little 13-horse cooler in it that Dad had rebuilt.
Put her to the test.
Oh yeah. It'll you get two guys on there, and the guy on the back, if he leans back far enough, he can ride a wheelie. So,
no kidding.
Oh yeah. We was doing that. I don't know what night it was. We was coming back from somewhere, and
right.
he's heading back
wheelies.
up.
Wheelies.
Yeah, heading back up the truck because we was up on the top of the
Right.
hill there, and yeah.
So have you gotten any of your parts put back on your engines yet?
No.
You thought about it though.
Yeah, well, they've made it to where the engines are at. They're on the pallets. The parts
Okay.
are placed on the pallets with the engines.
That's progress, baby steps.
Yeah, so well, except for the head for the air motor, because the air motor's like,
Right, 20 feet in the air.
yeah, 20 feet in the air. So
Yeah.
now I've got two engines tore apart right now. Little Fairbanks Morse 6-horse that I need to get done, and I was actually going to get it running for a guy that was interested in it, and he decided it was probably going to be a little bit too much for him for what him moving around. So I kind of put it on the back burner, and I need to get it finished so I can open up my workspace to pull something in. I got a 5-horse Samson that I don't think would take too much to get going.
Right.
The only thing I was waiting on was the igniter. Chris Austin had it. He's making copies off of it, and I got it back, so I should have everything to get it going. So I just need to
put the igniter in.
Put the igniter in and put the other little knick-knack parts back up on it, and
right.
see if I can get it to go. I'm probably going to. It's painted up, and somebody did put a bootload of body filler in it.
Ugh.
Yeah, so I want to try to strip it all off and
right. Start fresh.
Yeah, put it on a presentation base.
Oh boy, here we go.
It's starting already.
We were. I was talking to. We was up at the Brookfield picnic here last night, up here in town. It's the. How do I say this? The oldest steam show in the United States that's been in one location. It's never moved. So it's kind of cool, And Tim Farmer was up there, and he was talking about his 6-horse Araco with the pumping power. He says. He said, "Well, I'll be there around noon today. Tomorrow, today, but." He goes, "I'm going to set the Araco on the presentation base." I said, "Well, I'm going to have to revoke your Oilfield Engine Society card."
We need to make shirts that say presentation base.
Oh, my gosh.
I bet you'd sell.
Probably. Probably. Well, that's good. I mean, hopefully the Samson will be an easy project and get that off your list and enjoy it. You know, I think they're throttle governed, aren't they?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I figure what I'll probably end up doing is put it on a base. I kind of would have put it on a cart, but I'm looking for some pictures of like original carts that I can kind of copy, and you know, I probably will end up making it run on propane.
Right.
They run so much better.
Right.
So.
What I did with that 10 horse Type J Foose, it was on a cart when I got it.
Yeah.
And you know, flywheels hang way below the base. I built a sub base for
Sub-base?
it. Yeah, just out of steel.
Yeah.
And then I took, you know, the steel was smooth, so I took gloss black paint, put it on there real thick, just with a brush, and I took play sand, I threw it on there, and I took a sponge and smacked it with a sponge. It looks like cast
Looks
iron.
like cast?
Yeah, I was really impressed. I'm like, that looks pretty good.
Never thought about doing that.
I mean, if you walk up to it and, you know, tap it, it's just, you know, it has the ring of like just regular plate steel.
Yeah.
And that's what it is. But it turned out pretty nice. So that's also an idea for you.
Yeah. I've seen a few guys do that, make plate steel sub bases.
Yeah.
I don't know if I want to go that far into it, but we'll figure it out.
Right. Oh, yeah. That'd be nice when it's done. I look forward to it.
Yeah. It'll probably be this winter before I can get to it, too.
Yeah.
Like I mentioned, having jobs. That's
oh, yeah. That sure puts a big wrench in things.
Well, it's amazing how busy you don't realize you are until you have other things that you want to do.
Right.
And then I'm like, oh, I don't have any time to do anything.
Right.
So,
I got so many little projects that are like so close to being just finished.
yeah.
But it's the little ones that I just run from, you know.
Well, I'm severely ADD, and I can relate to that because you're scared of a 5-minute project.
Right.
So you put it off knowing that it's only going to take 5 minutes.
And you'll dive into a 5-month project.
And you'll dive into something that takes 5 months.
Yeah.
And this 5-minute fix is still sitting somewhere.
Oh, yeah.
And then when you go and do it and finish it in 5 minutes or less, then you're like, why didn't I do this a long time ago?
Right.
I have so many things that I just put off because I don't know.
Right.
It's
Oh,
just
yeah. Absolutely.
ADD, I guess.
It was something, yeah.
Yeah. Need to get stronger meds.
Well, yeah, right. Right.
What do you got going on?
Oh, a little bit of everything.
Any new purchases
Nah.
worth sharing?
We drug home this, behind me there's it's twin cylinder domestic. They're kind of odd. Twin cylinder with an upright air compressor. Radiator cooled, ugly as hell. Kind of neat.
It's an abortion.
It's something. I mean, I drug it home and got it running, and the float sticks and floods itself out. So I got to kind of tweak with that a little bit. But I thought it'd be cool, and it is cool, but it's not really my kind of cool.
It's different, that's for sure.
Yeah, I mean,
that radiator's pretty cool.
It is a neat piece. They're kind of rare, I guess.
I can see that.
But I don't know. But piddling with that and piddling with a couple of little things and trying to get some other, projects done and get some stuff ready for fall cool spring.
I seen you got the lean-to up on the building.
Yes, we got it up 2 weeks ago.
Really?
Yeah. I think it was 2 weeks ago. But finally got that project done, and that's ready to go. So
good deal.
Well, I still got to level the gravel out, but
yeah,
I had time.
Understand.
Oh, yeah.
Understand. Portland is coming up.
Yes.
You plan on going on Friday, you said?
I'm going Friday, yes.
I'm probably going to go Friday as well. I got some stuff I need to post for sale from that auction.
Right.
And hopefully get rid of that stuff and get it out of the garage. And
Portland, I think we talked about this before. I mean, we used to go for the whole week. Mm-hmm. And by Wednesday, I was just done. Ready to come home. So we used to go one day. I go one day. I get up there about 7 o'clock in the morning.
How long of a drive is that from here?
Yeah, from here it's about an hour and 10, hour and 15 minutes.
Oh, it's that close.
Yeah, it's not that bad.
It's like 4 hours for me.
Oh, dear Lord.
Yeah. Maybe 3. I think it might be 3.
Yeah, it's not very far. it's fairly easy, state roads to get to and everything else. But no, we're looking forward to that. We got some screen cooler stuff coming in from John Walnut, a couple of gas tanks we've been waiting on, and that'll finish up and help a lot of things throughout the winter.
Yeah, I got a screen cooler coming from him and battery box for Fuller and Johnson farm pump engine.
Okay,
that he's going to be bringing. I think that little project's going to be kind of neat. The house is on a spring. I got a holding tank, and I want to take that farm pump engine, redo the whole thing, and drop it down into the holding tank and be able to fire the engine up and pump water out of it. So I think that'll be kind of cool. But I wanted to get a battery box so I can have on it. So.
Mark Money did that at their studio.
Yeah.
It's kind of neat how they set that up and everything.
He's got a little building over his.
Yeah.
I was thinking about with mine, whenever I do it, I might have a lot of it powder coated.
Right.
Because it's going to sit outside.
Right.
So I thought about having it powder coated or going and buying that Harbor Freight powder coat gun.
I have looked at those and yeah,
and just
buying
a $10 oven off a
marketplace,
Facebook Marketplace and setting up and
I think that'd be probably the ticket right there.
Yeah, I mean, I think the only thing I couldn't powder coat would be, well, maybe I could. I don't know. I'd have to look into it. Would be the cylinder. I might have to do high temp paint on it, but I don't know.
I don't know if anybody's ever powder coated engines before.
I'm sure somebody out there has done something, I'd think.
Well, I mean, you see all these slicked up paint jobs and stuff. I don't know if anybody's ever powder coated one.
Yeah. Well,
if you have, let us know.
Yeah. Put it down in the comments.
Yeah.
Ever powder coated an engine? The reason I could see why it would be hard to do, because I know your surface has to be clean.
Right.
So you'd almost have to. The casting would.
Yeah. Right. Absorb the oil and stuff.
Well, and it would have the oil in it, and then when you go to bake it, all that oil would want to come out.
Well, or if you baked it first, then
you'd about have to bake it. Or what I thought of. So I did put a little bit of thought into powder coating these, or powder coating that. I was going to take it to all the parts to a machine shop or a motor shop that has one of those hot tanks.
Yeah.
And have them clean it.
Right.
And then go through and powder coat it, or if find somebody that would powder coat it.
Right.
And so I don't know.
That's kind of interesting.
It'll be a YouTube video.
Yeah, on the Cast Iron Curiosities YouTube page.
Mm-hmm. Something else, I took the old Federal truck that Dad and myself built.
I didn't even know you guys still had that thing.
Yeah, more so Dad built than me.
Right.
I stupid-vised. But took it to a local car show.
Right.
Had a couple engines on the back of it. And lo and behold, won a trophy.
Did you really?
Yeah.
Well, trophy for what?
Well, okay, so the car show is part of like a 3-day event they call Rock Coshocton, which is Coshocton's the town that I grew up in, or the county that I grew up in.
Right.
And I went there to support a buddy of mine he was running the car show aspect of it.
Right.
And I showed up there and brought the truck, and I had the engines are already on there from like a show I went to a month ago with it.
Right.
And I pulled in, parked the truck, unstrapped I had a little United on the back of it, unstrapped it and fired it up, and it sat there and ran all day.
Right.
And, drew the people over, and I had to walk away at one point. I got tired of talking.
Right.
Because it was all car guys, so they're motorheads.
Oh, yeah.
But they, half of them didn't know what the heck the thing was, and had to explain everything to them, and, it was fun, but kind of wore me out.
Right.
Just doing that, and I couldn't go and enjoy the car show. But for a small little car show, they had 93 cars show up.
No kidding.
Had a bunch of bikes there, and the trophies were sponsor trophies. So if you wanted to be part of the car show or sponsor the car show, you could sponsor a trophy.
Okay. And
the people that sponsored went around and picked whatever they liked.
Okay.
And the person that picked my truck was actually the guy that has a lawn and garden service down from my parents, and he says he sees a truck go by all the time.
Right.
And I know who he is, but he picked it, and I had.
So it was like insider trading. Or
yeah,
something.
I guess
this
I
is
didn't.
Some U.S. government stuff.
Yeah, I didn't know that it was him. Well, he had it. It was under another business because the trophy had a different name on it, and I didn't know it was him. And and my buddy was running the thing. He goes, "Oh, that's so and so." I'm like, "Oh." So then I had to message him like, "Hey, thanks.
Right.
I'll come over and give you a ride sometime." He goes, "I've been waiting." So.
Well, that's good.
But yeah, it was nice to get that out and for people to see the engines. I had that, like I said, I had a 3 to 4 horse United and that 5 horse Galloway that
right
I'd redone on the back of it. And so that was good.
Yeah. Bo, he's 2.5 and he likes to kind of tinker out here too, with his wrench and hammer and whatever else. So I've been finding these cheap garden tractors and just, you can buy a garden tractor cheap and bring them home and get them running. And we've been kind of dicking around with that a little bit because, he just loves that stuff. And it's cool, I think. The last one was an old Alice Chalmers Big 10 and had to put new front tires on it, clean the points, put some gas in it and got it running pretty good and took it out. He drove the wheels off of it and everything else. And I think we got to find another one now. So, cause he's kind of bored with that one. So it's like, oh boy, so where's this going to end up at,
Yeah. So you're going to have a garden tractor collection.
Oh,
you're telling me.
Well, we got 5 already. So
plus the mini tractors.
Yeah.
Oh, well.
Well,
if he enjoys it.
It could be worse things, you know, but he still loves his pops, and and he always wants to, start one up and watch it run and everything else, which is I'm cool with that. That's great. I like it.
I grew up with before engines, and a lot of guys started out with Maytags. I had the little Whedon steam engines.
Oh yeah, I've had several of those.
Yeah,
I still got several of them.
I was going to say I was probably still 20 at my parents' house,
right,
on the shelves. I remember in 4th or 5th grade, I did an entire day presentation to all the science classes on steam. Not that my friends and the people I went to school with thought I was weird to begin with.
Right.
But after that day, they really.
Right.
But it was actually kind of neat because I had 3 or 4 models there, and I must have been like 5th grade, and to see. You have all your cliques in school. Your preppies and your sports people.
Oh yeah.
And especially in like elementary, you're,
right,
kind of trying to find your place. And here I am with like little model steam engines, and I'm giving a presentation to all my peers essentially. And it was really surprising how many people that I wouldn't expect to ask questions.
Right.
That asked questions that were actually legitimately interested in it. And
really,
I wouldn't say it opened up doors for me, but it created a few friendships that I didn't expect to ever have with anybody.
Well, that's in high school there. I got a friend, and he was a year ahead of me in school, but we talked. We weren't like really super close or anything, but we knew each other. We always just said hi. We all, everything was kind to each other and everything else. But after high school, I lost touch with him, and here, I don't know, a year ago, he reaches out right before Christmas and says, "Hey, you still into those old engines?" I said, "Well, yeah." And he goes, "I need you to come down to his house or shop or whatever it was, or whatever he calls it." He goes, "I got something here you might be interested in." I said, "Okay." So I drive down New Year's Day last year. It had been 2022 New Year's Day. He goes, "Hey, Grandpa tore this thing apart. He was going to restore it." He goes, "The parts are here somewhere, but I don't know where. Would you be interested in it?" I'm looking at this thing. I turn, move some crap off of it, and it's like, holy shit. It's a 2-horse Foose. Little wipe spark. Little 2-horse wipe spark Foose. Missing the flywheels, missing, basically the only thing I have was the crank, the governor, cylinder, piston, rod. I got most of the main stuff.
Yeah.
So I said, what do you want to do with it? He says, well, he goes, the shop here was a dealer for Foose engines. I said, "Oh, really?" He said, "Yeah." And we got to, talked a little bit more. I said, what's the end result here? He goes, "Well, Dad wants to sell it." I said, "Okay." I said, "What do you want for it?" He gave me a price. Well, we went back and forth, him.
Yeah.
Well, what did you give me? Well, he finally gave me a price. I said, "Dude," that's not enough.
Yeah.
I said, I would love to pay you that much for it, but he says, I wouldn't be able to.
Wouldn't be able to sleep at night.
No. So I gave him a little bit more, and brought it home. And it sat on the little bench here for, I don't know, a good while. And we took it to Cool Spring Show a year ago.
Yeah.
Bill Hazard has it right now.
Oh, okay.
And he's going to have it done for the 2024 Foos feature for Cool Spring. So he's got the flywheel castings
Nice.
and everything. And I've been down to the guy's place a couple more times since, and I bought another magneto off of a Foos that fits right on my 15, which was unbelievable. And I said, I was keep asking, did you ever find them parts? So well, no, I had time to look. I said, well,
Can I look?
yeah, well, I don't want to push too hard, but
Yeah.
I'm just like, let's go look for some parts. I know what I'm looking for.
Yeah.
But
So it was a Foos dealer.
Yeah, they were a Foos engine dealer. Yep.
That's
I was down there here just a couple weeks ago helping him work on an old Plymouth car.
yeah.
And he gave me some sales receipts or whatever from where they bought the engines from Foos directly, and
Yeah.
had their name on them and everything else.
I'll be.
Yeah, I mean it's pretty cool.
That is cool.
Yeah, it's a very, very old dealership, and they're still kicking. I mean, they still sell cars and whatever else's, and
Wow.
yeah, it's pretty neat. His grandpa invented a tractor and sold patent. They got one tractor left, and it's in their showroom, and they got the patterns for all the castings.
Yeah.
And his grandpa had built 3 of them. And Henry Ford, this is what he told me, Henry Ford come down and bought the patents and the 2 tractors. But he kept the one tractor to farm his land.
Yeah.
And then kept all the patterns as well. But Ford, that was the time like when the Fordson tractor was, kicking ass and everything else. Yeah. So Henry Ford was going around buying up all these little tractors, so there's no competition.
Yeah, I was gonna say, so there wouldn't be any competition.
And that's what had happened. But this kid's grandpa, he had all kinds of patents on clutch pulleys for line shaft stuff. I mean, and all kinds of just different things.
It amazes me how many people invented stuff back then.
Yeah.
Yeah. That we use every day now. It just seems like everybody and their brother had a patent on something.
Yeah. But, knowing this kid back in school, I would have never dreamed that they had,
Yeah.
But, I would have never thought that. It's like, I'll be damned.
Yeah. When I got to high school, I was in FFA. And, again, the engine hobby for somebody of that age is kind of odd.
Right.
And when you're in high school, it's just not really something I really talked about other than with a couple teachers that,
right.
I grew up in farm country, so they knew and they found it interesting that I was interested in it. And my ag teacher told me that I needed to talk to this kid that was a couple grades above me.
Right.
I'm like, oh, okay. And he's like, well, he's got an engine he's trying to get running. It's back in the shop, in our ag shop. I'm like, really? This is, I'm a freshman, and so I go back there and look at it, and it was a little CT Stover.
Right.
And sure enough, it's back there all tore apart. He was getting ready to paint it, and it was Jeremy.
No kidding.
He was 2 years ahead of me in school.
Right.
And, I'd had no other reason to talk to him. I was a freshman. He was a junior.
Right.
Had nothing really in common that I thought. And,
right.
Then go back and tell him that, okay, hey, I've got a few engines and things like that. And so I can help you on getting yours running. He goes, yeah, sure, why not? So then we developed a friendship. Mm-hmm. He's one of my best friends now.
Right.
But even in high school, he was working on drilling oil for a guy.
Right.
And in that process, he found 4 Bessemers and a Reed. And I don't know. He may have been out of school year. I was driving. Probably a junior, something like that. And we're teenagers. Mm-hmm. And we're out in the oil field pulling engines out of the wild, pulling them out of the building. We had help for sure. Had his dad and my dad, and then the guy he worked for that drilled wells. They came in and brought his track loader.
Right.
Yeah, here we are. We putting together this group of people with bringing the lowboy and dad's trailer and all this other stuff to go
pull
in
high school too.
Yeah, in high school. I got pictures of it.
Right.
Yeah, there's a picture of me and him, and we're both a lot smaller. But there's a picture of me and him standing in front of the lowboy, loaded up with Bessemers and a reed.
Right.
And it's kind of funny to see that picture and think, we did that way back when.
Absolutely.
Which, I'd love to do it again. Well, I mean, I still pull stuff out of the woods occasionally, but
right.
Not to
that
scale.
We don't have that stuff around
Yeah.
here. I mean, we're flatlanders and it's all cornfield. But
yeah.
when I was in high school, I got my license and I worked at our Kingham hardware store through high school there. My first oil field engine was a 25 horse South Penn. I might have mentioned that before. I bought off of Tom Schoolcraft.
Tom.
In Petroleum, West Virginia. And I'll never, ever forget.
Is that the one that he had that was sunk into the yard?
I don't remember. I don't remember that part. But
okay.
I took my pickup truck, and since I worked at the hardware store, I borrowed a trailer, and off to Petroleum, West Virginia, I went. And
I've been to Tom's a few times.
Oh boy, that road was terrible. But we loaded it, brought it home. It was in pieces, whatever else. And back when I was 16, I was, I'd leave at 6 o'clock at night, get down to his place at 9, and be back home at midnight and not think twice about it. But now it's just like, ugh. But anyway, we got home and I still got that engine. And then not too long after that, we had bought a gooseneck trailer to haul our tractors on, and he had 2 more of them down there. So here I go. Here we go again. Headed back down to Tom Schoolcrafts. And if you remember, that little town of Petroleum has the road's real narrow.
Yeah.
There's a bridge.
You go across the bridge, you go left or right.
Well, it's a 90-degree turn.
It's 90-degree turn.
And a church on the corner.
Church on the corner.
Yeah.
Yep. You go up the hill, then he's up the top of the hill.
And I come across that bridge with the pickup truck and gooseneck, and I didn't judge that turn enough, and I hit that damn bridge with the swing of the gooseneck.
Yeah.
Like, oh, shit. So I got out of that mess, got up to Tom's, and he had hardly no room to turn around at all up there.
Oh, no.
But finally we got it turned around, and he goes, well, just pull over on the side of the road there, and we'll load you on the road. Okay. And we did. He says, don't get over too far because that's a little drop-off. Well, his little drop-off and my little drop-off are 2 different things because that was a freaking cliff.
Yeah, yeah.
And, I mean, you're 3 feet away from going down the cliff.
Yeah.
It's like, this is a sketchy situation, but we made it home that night, and, there was 2 engines, and they sat out here forever, and I sold one, and it's still up in Union City, Ohio. And the other one, I think I ended up taking to the scrapyard because it was just so damn rough.
Yeah.
But that was a good time, and this was all when I was in high school too. So it worked out pretty good, I guess. I mean, and that's kind of how that the oil field part of my collecting started.
Yeah, I went down. Well, it was me and Jeremy. I went down multiple times to Tom's because he was only a couple hours from me.
Right.
And I remember a trip that there was a show that was down there close to him, and we went. He told us to come down to the show, so we went down. We sat up. We had my little S10 ZR2 with a 3 or 4 horse Associated, one of those Iowa oversized Associated, and I wish I still had that engine. Man, that thing ran so good. It would about stop running before it fired again. It ran so slow. But we took it down there, and we met Tom at the show, and he goes, let's go back to the house. And he was driving like a little Geo Metro or something like that, one of those little 3-cylinder Geo Metros, and had a fart can on it.
Okay.
And, he knows the roads.
Right.
And I'm trying to keep up with him. I got an engine in the back of this S10 ZR2 is lifted, trying to keep up with this guy.
Right.
And I'm like, man, so we stopped, and he was showing us engines and stuff like that. He would just swing into a path with that Geo, and I'm, briars and stuff hitting off of it, and he's leading the way through the middle of the woods. And he's like, there's an engine here, and there's an engine here. And he goes, I'm going to go pull that one out, sometime this week. And, we went there, and then we went back to his house. And I don't know if he was down there, that if he had that Famous in the garage.
I don't remember that.
So he had it was like a 15-horse Famous, but it had a factory natural gas carb on it.
Oh, no kidding.
And that was I don't know if it was his baby, but he was keeping it.
Right.
He wasn't trying to sell it. But yeah, we went back to his house and BS'd for a little bit and headed back home. But yeah, I'll never forget trying to follow him on them roads and that.
Right.
He's in that little.
Well, he passed away here, what, 3 years ago?
I think it's been longer than that.
Has it been?
Yeah. Side by side, was it a side by side accident?
I have no idea.
I think it was a side, because he got into the side by sides, and I think it might have been that. I could be wrong though.
Right.
I remember, and this is going way back. Did you ever get on the hit and miss engine chat room?
Yeah. Yeah, it was on
their website. It was a chat room
on Harry's.
No, it wasn't on Harry's.
Was it on Schoolcraft's? No.
Schoolcraft was on it. Hit and miss engine supply, or whatever. Ed Deese.
Yeah.
Whatever the name.
Hit and Miss Enterprises.
Hit and Miss Enterprise.
Yeah.
They had a chat room.
Yes.
That Tom would get on. I think Norm Stobert.
Okay.
He was on there, and there's a few others.
Right.
And we was always like, I don't know, every Thursday or Friday or something like
Right.
that. There'd be like 5 or 6 of us.
Right.
That were on there BSing, and I was the youngest one on there, so my tag, my name was Little Engine.
Right.
And I would just get on there and talk with them guys. You know, it's kind of weird.
I vaguely do. I do remember that.
Because that I was on that, and I was on obviously on Smokestack.
Right.
Pretty prevalent, as you were too.
Yep.
And
I still get on Smokestack. I mean, we talked about that before. I got on it here, I don't know, yesterday or the day before, and it's just like pop-up ads everywhere. It's like terrible.
every time he's got to pay for it somehow.
Right, right.
Speaking of that, I need to still buy that card space, that sponsor space.
Yep.
But yeah, the old smokestack before what it was or what it is now.
Right.
Man, there's so many guys on there that are gone now. But man, the information, holy moly!
And there's still a lot of information on there.
It's still there. You just got to know how to search it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, then there was the ATIS site too.
Yeah.
Had the little computer with the flat belt on it.
Yeah.
You know, coming to. I think it's still up and going. I haven't visited it in quite a while.
Yeah. I haven't been on that in years.
I always pop in there and just kind of looking around on stuff and and see. Now we got Facebook now and still got Smokestack and things have just changed so much in the last 10 years.
Yeah.
It's going to be kind of interesting to see where it's going to go in the next 10 years. Hell, we might be able to teleport to shows and stuff, like
Well, that'd be nice.
type in your coordinates and like do.
Well, that'd be real nice. Be like the Jetsons.
Oh, that'd be so cool, wouldn't it? I think that'd be neat.
Yeah.
But, oh well. We'll have to see how that goes, But anything else cool happening?
The Altman Taylor steam engine.
How's that coming? Did I get it back together yet?
Well, it's not back together, but more pieces are there.
Okay.
Austin Machine Works.
Yeah.
He got the cylinder done. He got cylinder, new connecting rod.
Yep. You picked all that stuff up at Cool Spring.
Picked it all up at Cool Spring, so it's back home. Dad was getting anxious. He kept asking when it was going to be done. I'm like, you're not even ready for it. So, but that's back, and then I made a list of things that I need to take to Hazard to every cast.
Right.
Ash door, it's broke. The cylinder head or cap, whatever you want to call it, I want to have a new one of those casts because they have the Altman Taylor's logo or whatever you want to say is a starving chicken.
Okay.
And it's on that head, but that head's so rusted, it just looks like a bad casting.
Right.
And it's supposed to be the starving chicken
Looks
casting.
like a dead chicken instead
Yeah,
of
it's
starving.
definitely, it looks like a rotisserie chicken right now.
I gotcha.
So I want to have that done. There's a gear it needs recast and a couple other things, and that'll have that engine in pretty much tip-top shape. Because that cylinder, when we pulled that thing apart, I don't know how this thing ran. Pulled the piston out of it, and there was literally, I bet you, about that big piece of cavitation in the bottom of that cylinder that was open.
Really?
I have no idea how that thing ran. And there wasn't like bits and pieces in the cylinder either.
So it had to be like in the casting.
Yeah, there wasn't any score marks or anything like that. It blew out at some point.
Right.
And
Maybe that's why it was parked or something.
Yeah, I don't know, but
Right.
The lady when we bought it said it ran like 15 years prior, and then a guy came up to help us load it, which was their neighbor, and he said, "Yeah, I've seen this thing run."
Wow.
So I don't know how it ran, but nevertheless, it got sleeved. It needed sleeved anyway, but I can't understand how that thing ran the way it did, because it was almost in the middle where I don't know
where everything would happen. Yeah.
So yeah, that's a project.
Some guys were talking about JB Weld on cylinders. They don't want to spend the money to have them sleeved.
I've done it.
I have too on oil field stuff.
That 5-horse Galloway, it had some pitting in it where the piston had sat for a long time and it just ate around. I did it and it runs fine.
Right. I always use DevCon.
Yeah.
The product DevCon, you get it at Fastenal or whatever. I think it's a little bit more, I don't know, tougher, I guess, than JB Weld. But we had good luck with it on a Reed many years ago. But the engine's still running to this day. So
the biggest thing when you do that is making sure your pits and all that stuff are clean.
The prep work is the
prep
worst.
is
Because
if you don't prep it, then that JB Weld will harden up and just pop right out.
Right. Yeah,
So
the prep work is the worst.
Yeah.
That's the most time consuming and everything else. Just like when you're painting stuff, or most of us knows how it goes.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, yeah. I was going to ask something about brain fart.
When are you going to get your little Hercules done?
Well,
he's got
between now and then.
Yeah, he's got little 1.5-horse Hercules sub bases there where the hoppers have been cut off of them.
We cut the hoppers off, rolled a piece of steel, brazed them in.
Yeah, and it looks good. So now they're tank cooled 1.5-horse Hercules. That's not the first time you did that.
No, this is number 2. This is number 2 and 3.
Okay. I was going to say years ago you had one. Do you still have it?
Yeah, it's on the shelf out there. The one on the shelf out there is Webster fired.
Okay.
These will be hot tube ignition.
That'll be cool.
Yeah. So it's going to be trial and error. I really just need to set them up and just start cleaning some stuff up and, do a little bit of body work, and because I want everything to kind of flow.
Yeah.
And you can still kind of see the line where it was cut and brazed. And I kind of want to, filter, blend that back in. But yeah, I think they'll turn out. I'm hoping, later this summer, fall, winter. My goal is to have them done by February 1st.
Okay.
Just because.
That's just your goal.
I mean, they look like there's a lot to do yet, but there's really not. It's just a mindset of getting on them.
Looks like you poured Babbitt in it too, didn't you?
Yeah, we poured Babbitt in the one. The other one was okay. I just got to set the crankshaft in there and shim everything up, which I hate. I hate doing shim work. It's absolutely terrible. I do not recommend it. 0 out of 10.
It'll run in. It'll wear.
Well, that's what we get them close, and then we use that time saver.
I was going to say the time saver you talked about before.
Yeah, we use that. I belt them onto the lathe actually. I put them on the little table they're on, and I bolt them to the table.
Yeah.
And then I put a pulley into the chuck of the lathe, and therefore I have basically infinite speed.
Yeah.
I can go slow, fast, whatever. So I find a good speed and just start laying the time saver to them, and it takes about an hour maybe. And by that point, you just flush them out, and you're done.
Yeah. It's better than scraping.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, I'll scrape it a little bit, get it fairly close, and then we'll final lap them with time saver.
Okay.
But really, it's just to the point where, clean some parts up, do some Bondo work and some paint work and everything else, and just start putting them back together.
What's your ideas on paint? You got specific colors in mind?
No, I haven't really even looked at the paint color chart yet. So we'll probably use like an automotive paint with a dull or a flattener in it.
Yeah.
So it's not like a super shiny.
Yeah.
The part house uptown there, they mix paint basically any color you want. So I'll go up there and just kind of look through their books and just kind of keep it simple and it'll be sprayed.
Yeah.
Because that's the easiest way to do it, I think. But yeah, I think they're going to turn out pretty good when they're done. I mean, I got everything to do it. It's just doing it.
Yeah.
There again, this has been one of the little projects I've been kind of avoiding.
Yeah.
I don't know.
ADD.
Yeah, I get sidetracked on little things like this morning I was working on an oiler, like for absolutely no reason at all. I'm redoing it. For some reason, I think it needs done, so it's getting done. And I don't know why, because it's just going to end up in the drawer, But
Yeah.
Yeah, it's part of it, And I enjoy stupid little shit like that, I guess. But other than that, yeah, it's about all the cool stuff's going on around here. We got the 10-horse Famous back and waiting on a screen cooler tank and build a skid for it, and then it'll be done.
Yeah.
It'll go out in the shop there somewhere, and just move on to the next. That's all we can do, I guess.
You got any other fantasy engine ideas in mind?
Oh, I do. I would love to take a 1.5 M.
Okay.
Or 2 of them, and cut them so you can put them together and make a twin cylinder.
Cylinder on each end?
No, twin cylinder, not opposed. Twin 1.5 M. I think that would be so cool.
That'd be different.
I just haven't figured out how to. I mean, I'm sure it could be done. I mean,
yeah, oh yeah.
That or even like a Hercules. Take a Hercules, make it a twin cylinder Hercules.
There's that right there. If you had that other one flipped around, had them two next to each other.
Oh yeah, I've had them on the bench, and
yeah,
I've been thinking about it.
I messaged you a week or two ago about doing igniters for the Bessemer engines.
Yep.
I'm still planning on doing that, but I haven't followed up with it again.
Right.
Too many irons in the fire, but I want to get an igniter. And if you've ever seen the original igniters for Bessemer engines, they're like a star wheel or a rotary or however you want to call it. And I want to get one of them, make a couple.
For the 22, for the big Bessemers.
For the big Bessemers.
Yeah, because the little ones, the 5s and 8s, had them.
Yeah. I want to do it for the big ones.
Yeah,
and
that'd be cool.
I think I know where there is a large Bessemer that has all the stuff on it.
Oh, really?
I don't know if I can get to it, though.
Right.
It's in a grist mill.
Okay.
The whole mill's for sale, and they want the whole mill moved.
Oh.
And I don't know if the guy'd let me in to go look at it.
Right.
But I'm fairly certain from the pictures I've seen of it that it is a large horsepower igniter fired Bessemer.
So I didn't even know they made.
I didn't either, and I was showing the pictures to a couple people, and they said the guys I showed them to would know.
Right.
And they said the same thing. I'm like, I need to get in there and look at that thing.
Right.
But there's so many Bessemers out there. I just think it'd be neat to have one of those large Bessemers that is always hot tubed to just go and have one where you can put an igniter on it, and
right,
because it's not going to be much. I think the eccentric for the mag trip will work.
Yeah, it should.
So that's already.
You just gotta have your little rocker up there.
Yeah. So the only thing you need have the eccentric, make a rod, the pedestal mount for the rocker.
Yep.
And all the nice thing about Bessemers is the plug where the spark plug is or whatever it is. It's all the same on all the horsepowers.
Right.
So the igniters fit in all of them. So
right.
I know the igniters are out there. I know they've been remade.
Right.
So I can get an igniter. I just need to make the rest of the crap.
Right.
And I don't think it'll be too hard, but. This
is where, I mean, like, doing stuff like that, sometimes I'll make patterns out of wood.
That's probably what I'll end up doing.
Just make real
if I can't find
cheesy, pattern, and then you can go back and kind of tweak them and make them look prettier.
What I thought about doing was doing rough out of wood so I can get the geometry right.
Yep.
And to get it to work.
Right.
And then myself or somebody else do it to make it look like it should.
Right.
And then have it cast. Either have Hazard if you'd be interested in drawing it up in CAD, or there's a couple pattern makers up in Amish country by me that I could here's my idea. This is where this hole needs to be, where this hole needs to be, and this hole needs to be. This is what I want it to look like. Can you make this for me? Or I could try it myself. But yeah, I mean, I think
there's another guy that does some pattern work, David Hobbs. He's pretty good at that stuff.
I don't know him, but I know the name.
He does it for. I mean, that's what he does for a living. He does it for a company, or some not the company. I don't know which one it is, but
Yeah.
but he's talked about doing some of that stuff too. But the neatest engine I've seen here recently was a upright Bovard Seafang, air cooled, that had been laid down to be a horizontal engine.
Really?
And it looked 100% factory. It was so cool.
There's a guy that used to go to the Dover Steam Show, and he's still around because I seen him up at the Kidron show up at Layman's Hardware a couple years ago. And I forget his name, but he started out with 2 5-horse Jacobsons.
Okay.
And they were always painted up real nice.
Okay.
And if you didn't know any better and he didn't tell you, he fabricated the entire head out of plate steel.
No kidding.
For both of those engines.
Right.
And then, like I said, you wouldn't even know.
Right.
And I'd just seen him up at Kidron, and he had I forget what it was, but it was about a 4 or 5 horse tank cooled, maybe a Globe. I don't know. I forget.
Okay.
And super nice, looked like original paint.
Right.
I got to talk to him. He goes, "Oh yeah, I made the cylinder and I made the head and all this." I'm like, "It looks like it's all
Right.
original." He goes, "Yeah, I made it. I made all that." He goes, "The only thing I had was the sub base and the flywheels."
No kidding.
So then he got on his phone. He showed me a picture of a vertical, a side shaft vertical that was fairly large,
Right.
5 or 6 horse, and he was showing me. He goes, I'm like, "Well, what's that?" And he goes, "I bet you can't guess." I'm like, "I'm drawing a blank." He goes, "Well, you'll never guess it because I made the whole thing."
Really?
And it was sweet looking.
Right.
And I'm like, "What you're like a fabricator for a living?" He goes, "No, it's just, I guess, tinker in the garage."
Right.
I'm like, "Geez, dude."
Right.
I wish I could remember his name.
I love doing that. I love doing that, build stuff type of thing, but I'm just not good at it, really. I mean, I am to an extent, but to do something like that, and
Yeah, to that extent. Because me and you've talked a little bit about, I got a fantasy idea of taking a large oil field engine and making my own cylinder and just to make it look as weird as possible.
Right.
Take like a reed sub base or something like that, and
oh yeah,
we'll convert it to a side shaft or something
Right.
crazy, and yeah. In my mind, I've drawn it up 19,000 times, but
oh yeah.
I think getting it to actually create.
Well, I
might be
mean,
a
we still got
different
some years left too, so don't give up on it just yet.
I know. Well, I just got to find the time. I'm hoping my YouTube channel will support my
Right.
entire life, and I can just sit in the garage and come up with crazy ideas.
That'd be cool, wouldn't it?
Well, that'd be great.
It'd be like that. What's that? Whistling Diesel or whatever. They destroy everything
Yeah.
that they touch. That's ridiculous, but that's just
Yeah, I'll pass.
Yeah.
He's a little much for me.
right.
He's a little that. Dude, Hand Tool Rescue. I watch.
Is that the guy that rebuilds the tools and stuff?
He's up in Canada.
Okay.
Yeah, and he just picks random tools and.
I see a dude on TikTok that's like a restoration thing, and I get so sucked into those videos.
Yeah.
I mean, he'll go to as far as hand filing the little bolts and stuff. It's like, oh my god.
Yeah, there's some of those guys just do it to do it.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, they do great. I mean, it's phenomenal work.
I like that. The Hand Tool Rescue guy he's right on my level of
right.
skill, I guess.
Right,
And that's
right.
why I like watching him, because when he finishes something, it's pretty much how it would look if I did it.
Right,
So
right.
I can relate to him a lot. He did I think it was a Barco, one of those
Yeah.
it was a compactor.
Okay.
And he redid one of them, and he took it outside and he was playing with it. And he had a
Right.
big smile on his face, and you can tell
Right.
he was giggling. And all he was doing was just sitting in his backyard, just right in the same spot, just pounding the ground down.
Right.
But I went over to that auction where I bought that Stickney at, and there was one there.
Right.
And I wanted to buy it. It went for like $800. I'm like, I ain't paying that for it.
Right.
Because of that video, I'm like, I need one of them. So I'm keeping my eye out for
Right.
a Barco compactor.
Well, we got a jackhammer out in the barn there.
I'd like to get one. I know where a couple of them are at.
I don't know what brand it is, but it's a sleeve valve, or it's goofy. There's no crankshaft,
Yeah.
but it's internal. It's weird.
Yeah.
Murphy tried to explain it to me, and over my head. But Jim Rush has got an engine like that. It's like an opposed piston, and it comes together, and There's a jackhammer like it out in the barn.
Huh.
Picked up here at Cool Spring a couple of years ago. 'Cause I didn't buy nothing at Cool Spring. I was so pissed. And it was a Saturday. I'm like, I got to buy something. And this dude wheels in.
You're like, I drove all this way over here. I'm
Right.
not coming home empty-handed.
And this dude wheels in and flops that thing out. I'm like, oh, I got to have it. It's just like, now it's just like, what the hell did I buy that for? But
Yeah.
no, we still got it. It's a cool piece.
Yeah, I know where a couple of the little barcode jackhammers are at.
Right. I always wanted one of them gas-powered circular saws, like the Olson and Rice ones.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
Just because it's weird.
Yeah, it's just cool.
Just because it's weird.
I always thought they were awesome, but we'll find one eventually. I mean, you can find the little generators and the water pumps and stuff like that, but the circular saw is the hardest one to find, I think.
Probably.
And they pop up on eBay and stuff here and there, but they go for
Premium.
Stupid money.
Yeah.
But
well, there's a lot of people out there like us. It's like, that's just cool. I just want it.
Yeah. Absolutely. But
well,
do you our next podcast at Portland?
Yeah, I'm thinking Portland.
Okay.
We can do it on Friday there.
Yeah, we'll do it there at Friday on site at Portland.
Yep. We already kind of had an invitation from them. So.
Oh, did we? Okay.
Yeah. One of the previous podcasts.
Okay.
Guy said if we wanted to do it, he could open up one of the buildings to get power and stuff like that.
Okay, that'd be cool. So, Portland, Indiana is August 23rd, 24th, 25th, and 26th.
Yep. What's the Friday? What's the
date? The 25th.
25th.
Yep. The week before that, I believe, is the Oblong, Illinois. No, I'm sorry. The 10th and 11th is the Oblong, Illinois show. Okay. That is a great show.
Yeah. Never been, but I've seen a lot of pictures.
That is a great show.
Yeah.
There was a guy out there that ran 2 powers with 35 Superiors that pumped oil every day.
Yeah.
He passed away here a few months back, and I don't know if they're still running or not. But the only day that they would shut them down was Christmas Day.
Really?
Yeah. Other than that, they would run every day, all day long. But next weekend is the Rushville, Indiana show. I haven't been there in years. It's a great steam show. I haven't been. I ain't got time. Well, that's always during the 127 yard sale. And I like to buy junk. Yeah. So I go yard sailing. And let's see, you got Rushville, Oblong, LaGrange, Indiana is.
LaGrange is a good one.
The 11th and 12th. I don't know if there's anything going on the 18th, 19th weekend.
I don't know. I'm going to be in West Virginia and camping that weekend. So. Hopefully I'm not hearing banjos.
Then we got Portland. Well, this year Portland, Rantoul, Illinois is the same time.
Okay.
I've never been to Rantoul.
I've been through there.
Oh yeah. But yeah, I guess that's a good show. So that's what we got going on there. So hopefully you guys stick with us, and if you have questions, comments, concerns,
complaints,
whatever, just let us know.
So we're at 53 minutes, so we'll wrap this one up.
Until next time, we'll be at Portland, Indiana.
Portland, Indiana, the 25th of August. If you want to say hello to us, we'll be there.
We're not famous.
Where? I have no idea. But if you want to come over and BS, we're both good at that.
Yeah.
And like to talk engines and meet people. So if you want to come, we'll be there. We're both going to be there picking up stuff. So we're there regardless. So
I'll have the golf cart and be cruising around looking at some junk, and not really looking for anything in particular. Just got to pick up my screen cooler stuff from John, and that's about it. Yep. Other than that, I don't need anything.
There's a lot of stuff I don't need, but I still buy it.
Right.
So all right.
Well,
till next time.
Yep.
Go check out some of our other videos. Check out my YouTube channel.
Yep.
I haven't uploaded in a couple months there, but I'm working on getting that remedied. So until next time, go get your hands dirty.